I'm Jahawi Batoli, eco-filmmaker and wildlife specialist.
And I'm Ella Meek, co-founder of Kids Against Plastic and all-round animal lover.
Welcome to our weekly update on the health of this planet and its animals.
This is The Pulse.
Coming up on today's programme,
The climate summit is over, but was there real progress or just hot air?
an incredible recovery for endangered turtles off the coast of Africa.
And we discover some of the more unusual eco-news stories.
Hey Ella, so I see you're back home after COP26.
Hi Jahawi, yeah, I'm back in Nottingham after what was a very exciting few days in Scotland for the climate conference.
Yeah, it seemed like everyone was there. I mean, from Greta Thunberg to Barack Obama.
Yeah, so many world leaders and passionate young activists. There was definitely a real atmosphere.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to COP.
If working apart, we are a force powerful enough to destabilize our planet, surely working together, we are powerful enough to save it.
System change, not climate change.
System change, not climate change.
We don't want your blood money.
The leaders are not doing nothing. They are actively creating loopholes and shaping frameworks to benefit themselves.
I believe we can secure a better future. We have to.
That's a great snapshot of what COP26 was like. There was so much going on.
And something that caught my eye is developed nations have again committed to supporting developing nations financially with the effects of climate change. But this announcement has been met with quite a bit of skepticism.
Yeah, and I think rightly so, because this financial support should have already been provided to these developing countries.
While developed nations kind of squabble over who's funding what and how it's all going to work, the poorest countries on Earth are actually feeling the effects of climate change as we speak. Here in Kenya, we have been battling drought. We've had floods in the last couple of years. So people here are on the front line of these changes.
Another worrying thing that I saw from COP26 was Climate Analysis Tracker, which is the world's most respected climate analysis coalition, who said that with the outcome of COP26, we're on target for a temperature increase of 2.4 degrees Celsius. And this would have pretty disastrous impacts with loads of sea level rising, flooding, droughts, and lots of really intense storms.
Yeah, even a 1.5 degree increase in global temperatures means that anywhere between 70 to 90% of the world's remaining coral reefs are at threat of bleaching. And a 2 degrees rise could mean that we could lose 90% of our reefs.
Yeah, so while there have been some good outcomes from COP, there's a lot of varying reactions to how it's gone. So I've spoken to Katie White, the Executive Director of WWF, the World Wildlife Fund, to see what she thinks about the outcome. Hi Katie, thanks for joining me today.
Hi Ella, great to be here.
So what are the disappointments from COP26?
I think there's two truths. One is we are in a better position than we have ever been before, and there is more action and effort and commitment on the table. That's good news. Is it enough? No, it's not enough. There is still a gap between what we need to do to keep that crucial 1.5 alive and what is on the table.
And what have the positives of COP26 been, in your opinion?
There's been, good commitment in terms of, for us at WWF, there was a lot of focus on forests. We won't meet 1.5 degrees if we don't tackle deforestation and restore our nature. And so nature has to be part of this discussion. It's a key part of nature, and it hasn't been to date. So we're really pleased that that was up there on the agenda. Again, more to do, of course, and the key is going to be in the delivery.
And is there anything you think should have been discussed at COP that wasn't?
So for WWF, we'd like more of a focus on food, because for us, food is at the heart of the climate and biodiversity crisis. It's 30% of greenhouse gases, 60% of biodiversity loss is caused by the food sector. So that's one sector that really hasn't yet stepped up in terms of reducing its emissions, but also that crucial nature restoration. So in the years to come, we'll be looking for more action, commitments and policies to deliver on that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for speaking to me, Katie.
It was my pleasure, Ella. Great to chat with you.
take a look at this pretty crazy clip.
Whoa, what's going on?
Well, this is somewhere in the Bahamas, and it looks like a shark has been caught in a makeshift net next to a pier. And this fearless young man has jumped in the water to rescue the shark. I mean, he picks it up, takes it on land, frees it, and returns it back into the sea.
Oh wow, that's quite brave. Is that a problem where you are, Jahawi?
I can't say I've ever really seen that in this part of the world. I mean, it's important actually to stress that this is incredibly dangerous, both for the shark and for the man. So you really need to actually know what you're doing before you go in the water with predators. And sometimes this is best left to local fishery authorities who can maybe come in with scientists and help free the animal safely. Continuing with our ocean theme in this episode, there's been some incredible news to come out of Cape Verde. Now, the Environmental Ministry puts the number of loggerhead turtle nests last year at around 200,000. And that's up from about 11,000 in the year 2015.
Yeah, that is an absolutely incredible increase because they were very endangered, weren't they? So how did they actually manage to bounce back?
You know, the recovery of sea turtles is one of those incredible stories because pretty much all around the world, and especially in developing countries, turtles were eaten for their meat. So through conservation efforts and education efforts, but also as developing countries have kind of progressed and people can afford different kinds of protein, turtle numbers have really rebounded.
And interestingly, I actually saw that beaches from India to the US have also seen increases in the amount of nest numbers. But it wasn't all just positive news that I saw.
You know, the problem is we're all feeling the effects of global temperature rise. So when it comes to turtles, it's important to remember that the temperature of the sand actually dictates the sex of the turtle. So if the sand is a bit warmer, those turtles become female. And actually, in the island of Mayo a couple of years ago, they estimated that almost 100% of the hatchlings were female. And this is something that's been seen in Australia as well. So that's incredibly worrying for the gene pool for these turtles.
Something that I've been really mesmerized by is pictures from a volcano in La Palma, which is one of the Canary Islands. And it's been erupting for about 2 months now, which is insane.
I mean, just looking at these pictures, you can see just how powerful and raw and how much energy this volcano has.
Yeah, it's really beautiful despite how dangerous it is. The lava is about 1,300 degrees Celsius, and it's caused over 2,500 homes to be burned down and 7,000 locals have had to be evacuated.
I know, it's great news that there have been no fatalities.
But there's no scientific data to say that it's even going to stop anytime soon either, which shows how powerful nature really is.
So Ella, there's been some great news out of West Africa for chimpanzees. A landmark action plan was launched, published by the International Union for the Conservation of Nature.
Well, that is really amazing news to be hearing because in 2016, Western chimpanzees were listed on the IUCN Red List as critically endangered, which is just the step before extinction.
Yeah, having protection for them is incredibly important because only 17% of the chimpanzee population reside within national parks and protected areas, leaving 83% outside of these protected areas and vulnerable. Now, Liberia is said to hold the largest population of Western chimpanzees. And earlier today, I got to talk to Jenny Desmond, who founded the Liberia Chimpanzee Rescue and Protection. Hi, Jenny. Thanks for joining us. Now, in a sentence, can you explain to us the plight of the Western chimpanzee?
Western chimpanzees are faced by a variety of threats, but that includes habitat loss, encroachment into their habitat, disease risk, and the illegal bushmeat and pet trades are really the most prevalent threats that facing chimpanzees in West Africa.
So how happy are you to hear about this action plan to save chimpanzees in West Africa?
We're very, very excited about it. It's essential, actually outlines very critical concrete steps that we all need to take to save the species. It involves the eight range countries, so the countries where Western chimpanzees still exist in the wild. And it's going to become the first time that all of these 8 countries in the entire region, different languages, different cultures, different threats and challenges that we all face are all going to come together in a really cohesive and comprehensive way to protect and conserve chimpanzees.
What difference will this make for the chimpanzees in West Africa?
Gosh, I mean, I'm an optimist. I'm a realist, but I'm an optimist. And I hope that I am having the same conversation with you in 10 years and we are not getting chimpanzees into our rescue centers anymore. They're all staying in the wild and the numbers increased drastically. And we're looking at a beautiful, robust, vibrant population of Western chimpanzees throughout all of the range countries.
This week saw the launch of the first TV channel for dogs, which was very fittingly named Dog TV.
How does that work? I mean, I've tried to get my dogs to watch TV and they're never interested.
Well, this would be a bit different because this is supposedly scientifically tested programming, which is hoping to help ease stress and separation anxiety for your dog if they're left alone.
Wow. But you know, that's not the craziest bit of news I've heard this week, because in New Zealand, a bat managed to win a Bird of the Year competition.
What? How did that work? I swear bats are a mammal, not a bird.
Yeah, so in New Zealand, you've got what's called the peka peka long-tailed bat, and it's an endemic bat that not many people know exists. So the Forest and Bird Society of New Zealand decided to enter it into their Bird of the Year competition to get people to understand that they have this bat and that it's also endangered from habitat loss and from introduced threats. So there you have it. It won by 3,000 votes.
I mean, even if it maybe shouldn't have been included, I'm glad it was because bats are very cute and, like all animals, super important. So I'm glad it's raising awareness of them.
Yeah, it is all a bit batty, but all for a good cause.
Oh, I think we're done for this week. See you next time.
Bye.